Hi, everyone. I am Mary Kate Luke. I'm the marketing specialist here at Hasmark Publishing International, and I am joined today by my co-host, Jen Gibson. She is the Director of Marketing and Publishing with Hasmark, and we're here to talk to you today about a really exciting book. I'm so thrilled to be chatting with this author today. So we're going to be talking about the book Tune into Wellness with Mari Egan, and we're so excited to introduce you to her and this beautiful book. It's once you see it and you see the cover and learn a little bit more about it, you're going to be so excited to pick this one up. Like I said, it's Tune into Wellness, and I want to start off by asking about this book and kind of the title and everything that it resembles. So the book itself talks about mantras and chakras and sort of the healing energy and power behind all of that. Can you start by telling us a little bit about your sort of teachings in this area and why you wanted to share this in the format of being an author and writing a book?
Well, first of all, thank you for speaking with me. I'm really delighted to share the info about my book. So Tune into Wellness, I've got a little proof copy here. So it's embracing everything to do with vibrant frequency alignment. So I started writing this quite a few years ago, and I just started talking about vibration and how we can basically feel better, reduce stress. And then I started adding all these other chapters as I was learning things myself, I wanted to incorporate it into the book. I wanted something that was an all-encompassing holistic approach for people. I found that for myself, when I was trying to find meditations or methods to raise my vibration, reduce stress, be more calm and centered, I found I had to read so many different books and look in so many different avenues. I wish there was just one place that had some simple tips, just all packed into, one book. So that's what I started to do. So I do talk about frequency with the body, with the chakra centers, how to align them, and how to just do simple things at home every day, whether it's a meditation or an affirmation. And as well, looking at blessing and charging our water before we drink it, for example. Water is so important. It's a source energy for us. And I wanted to incorporate things that I feel that, none of us were ever taught this in school. And you'd have to take so many hundreds of different courses or years of reading so many books to just get these little summarized tidbits of information. So that was basically the purpose of the book. It's like a reference book, but also some interesting facts and studies from many different people about the frequency of our body and how we are in control of raising our frequency.
Excellent. Did you face any obstacles in your writing process? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Issues trying to figure out how to organize it all. So what I did was I just started writing about things that interested me, that I felt would connect with the reader. And then later I went through and figured out what's the common thread here amongst everything. And I rearranged some chapters and moved them around, and some I expanded on and some I actually reduced because I felt it would probably have to be in another entire book, actually. So yeah, it was a little bit of how am I going to organize this so that it makes sense? So I did rearrange the chapters a few times, and then I think I finally got the flow working. So talking very generally about, well, what is vibration? What is frequency? What does that mean? What does a chakra mean? And then going into more specifics of how to deal with vibration of the body and the mind, and going through step by step in a little bit more detail on what do studies say about vibration, and how do you measure that? And if you don't have a measuring device, how do you figure out for yourself if it's working? So yeah, it was kind of an organizational challenge, but I think it eventually got there.
That's awesome. And I'm sure, like you mentioned, with it being such a comprehensive guide, it must have been sort of difficult to narrow down exactly what you wanted to include to kind of hit those key points for people to be able to use this as one big reference point.
Right. Like I think probably spent most of my focus on the meditations because I really wanted to incorporate the use of color because each color is assigned to the main chakra points and balances that chakra. And I found it fascinating when I learned for the first time that colors have frequency. I mean, I knew words had frequency and objects have frequency, but I'm like, oh, colors have frequency too, of course. So I spent a lot of time on the meditations. I really wanted something simple where people could just focus on a color in their mind or look at a color and then focus on that area of their body. And then the body will basically through it's a resonance, sort of a sympathetic resonance. It picks up on that. So I spend a lot of time on the meditations, making sure that the main chakra areas all had specific colors that I could bring people through so they could just read it. And then later they'd remember what color is associated with that chakra point very easily so they could just focus on that themselves later.
That's great. Now, what would you say is maybe one element that people could take away very seamlessly right now and sort of add to their daily routine?
So I'd say there's probably two main things, but the main thing is the energy of water is so important. When we drink water, it has memory and it goes through a lot of twists and turns that are not natural when it goes through pipes and filtration systems before it reaches our glass. So water has memory. It remembers all of that, and that lowers its vibration. So by, for example, using good filtered water, always use a glass, don't store water in plastic. You can store it in something natural like ceramic also works, or stone, because naturally water would be in or over a rock. And we want to imagine that the way water wants to flow is through a river, a stream, a waterfall, where it's oxygenated, it's taking in air, it's tumbling and flowing. So something simple that can be done is you can charge your hands with energy and intention. You can place it around the glass of water before you drink it. And then you can also stir the water 20 to 30 times. So you're swirling it back to the way the water wants to be, the way it wants to be treated. Even the type of carafe that you have it in before you pour it into your glass. And another little thing I like to do, I have an infrared red light device. So when I pour a pitcher of water, I like to let it sit under the red light for about half an hour, because it's almost like it becomes a homeopathic remedy type of water. And that raises the vibration too. So people can do this at home with your own intention, with respecting the water. Our bodies have so much water, 70, 80% water. When you think about if you charge your water and you increase the vibration of the water, then if you're doing that every day, imagine how that's affecting the cells in your body, because every cell in our body is full of water. We start on this earth in water, in the womb. Like, water is so important. The other takeaway that I found that's really interesting, that I didn't even know about this till I was researching it for my book. I was like, well, what else can increase our frequency that we can do every day? And that's the clothes that we wear. I found it really interesting. I found a study where the frequency and vibration of clothing will actually either energize you or take away your energy. So for example, merino wool will increase your energy. Linen is probably the highest. And it's no surprise that synthetic fabrics decrease our energy. So it's just a little simple thing you can incorporate that against your skin. You want to have organic cottons or merino wool or linen, and it can really, really energize the body. So it would be great too for the environment if we got back to those kinds of, even bamboo, for example. It grows really, really quickly, and it doesn't take as much processing as cotton, for example. And you can get bamboo socks, you can get bamboo t-shirts. So I thought that was really cool too. So I wanted to include little tips like that in the book as well.
Can you share with us some of the unique principles that this book has, from meditations to mantras, and why you chose to include them?
One of the things that I wanted the readers to understand is that affirmations and meditations, it's very important that they're done at the right time of the day when you're in the right state of mind. So the closer that we get to the relaxation state of the theta brainwave state, which is just before sleep, that is the best time to do affirmations and meditations. It can take a little bit longer if it's in the morning or the middle of the day to get to that relaxed state. And any time of the day is a good time for meditation. But even twice a day for 20 minutes can have huge benefits for people. So by incorporating, imagining certain colors, certain sounds, and using certain positive words, and sort of incorporating those all together is really powerful, really powerful. It is the best way to get your body reset for the next day.
That's awesome. Now, what for you, did you know you always wanted to be an author? Was this something that you always wanted to put pen to paper and share with people? I know that you do sort of these teachings outside of being an author, but was it something that you always wanted to kind of put out into the world?
Well, years ago, I took an author writing course and class, and I did write a fiction novel. It was like a murder mystery. And so I learned the skill of writing and dialogue and organizing characters and all of that. And when I got near the end, I felt like I wasn't excited about it anymore. I felt like I wanted to write, but I didn't feel like fiction was really calling to me. So I put it down, and I never really finished it. I never put it out there. So, but it's not time wasted because I learned so much about the writing process. I feel like it was setting me up later, so that when I was ready to write, I felt like I wanted it to be something helpful for humanity. And I didn't feel like fiction was really the way to go. It could be something that I might do later on. If it's fiction, it would have to be something like maybe an inspirational children's story, perhaps. But I really felt drawn that, okay, I think I just got to direct myself to something that feels more like my calling. And my calling was more, I wanted it to be something that assists people and helps people to feel better, because in our day-to-day life, it's all about how do we reduce stress and keep stress to a minimal, and how do we increase our vibration. I mean, consciously, we didn't grow up thinking, how do I increase my vibration? We weren't taught things like that, but we know, whether you've studied anything about vibration or frequency or not, when you're having a good day and when you're having a bad day, and when you're feeling good and when you're feeling drained. So yeah, I felt that I wanted to write at some point, but my first go at it was just maybe not the right topic.
Excellent. Is there anything else that you want readers to take away from your book?
I really want people to realize that how creative they are, and that they are in control of their thoughts, their moods, their feelings. So you can change your thoughts whenever you want, and you can change your perspective. And when you change your perspective on something, you can feel differently about it. So I want people to realize that don't let stress get to you, and don't feel the victim, that emotions have a frequency of their own as well. And it's important to stay in the higher frequency with emotions as well. The higher state of emotions that you're in, the better it is for your health and your immune system and your outlook.
That's amazing. And I do want to say that I think that what's so beautiful about this book is the power that it has to have just such good rereadability. I know that we talked previously on a call about a reader of yours who said that she wanted the ebook and she wanted to have a physical copy that she could keep right next to her. So that's what I think is so amazing about this work and this book in general, is that people can go back to it time and time again, and they'll probably learn something new each time they reread it, and that they can implement into their life.
For sure. I try to incorporate the chapters in such a way that there's probably some information that people might not initially even be interested in. Like, for example, I've got a chapter about crystals and how to use crystals and incorporate that in your meditation. Well, some people aren't into crystals. They don't own any crystals. My niece, for example, she's like loves crystals. She's got a bigger crystal collection than I have. I'm like, wow, look at that. That's great. She's like, I'll read your book if you talk about crystals. So,
I love that.
and I did also want it to be visual as well. So there are a lot of pictures, diagrams, references, and especially because I talk about color, I wanted to show color, right? So there is visual references because some people are attracted to pictures and, oh, this looks interesting. Oh, what, like, so they can follow along that way. And yeah, I did a little health seminar and showed my book. And one of the participants there said that she knew she wanted the information in an instant download because she really wanted to be able to read it all, but then also wanted the book format so it could be by her night table as a reference. So when she wanted to do a meditation, she could just pick it up, go to the chapter of affirmations, money affirmation or health affirmation or whatnot, and then just go right into it and, earmark the page. And I was so pleased to hear that because that's my intention, that I want people to get the info right away so they can get the digital version, or they can have it as a reference right beside them, have it in their car and, read it on their lunch or read it in the evening before bed, or first thing in the morning, go through a meditation. And it's like a little reference book.
Absolutely. And come back to it time and time again. Now, how can people get a hold of a copy of Tune Into Wellness when it launches?
Well, I will have it on Amazon. So if you go to Tune Into Wellness, Amazon.com, all of the platforms for Amazon, for Canada, UK, etc. And I will be doing locally, I'll be doing some book signings, probably in the Hamilton, Toronto area. So I'll probably have, several copies with me then and talk about it then. So yeah, the March 5th is the launch date. Very excited about that. And so I'm also on Instagram as well as Facebook, Tune Into Wellness. And I can be reached there. And on my website, my client website where I do readings and coaching is mysticmarie.ca.
So we'll be able to find you online, and we're so excited for March 5th for the book to launch and for people to have it in their hands, have their digital copy and their physical copy. Thank you so much for chatting with us today, and we're just so thrilled to be helping you launch this book and to see it be a big success.
Thanks so much. It was my pleasure.